You're leaving me?
Sorry, I've met a real man.
Hi, babe. Yes, I am real man.
Hello, this is KRBrickBot, and this is the second new Carbot of Season 12's Bomba. Not exactly on the packaging, for a good reason, I guess. Laranja. Some nice packaging styling with the word mark with the two orange gems that match her design here. Pretty simple word mark here with a little circular. This looks like a old prehistoric cloth and hammer. Along with this rope here, this rope and tooth. Yeah, I guess just kind of really giving that jungly vibe and motif for the packaging at least. With all the jungle leaves that transitions into a cube background. There's still some metallic borders and that triangular pattern as seen with Hawk Axe. But with a new circular pattern on the bottom here, I guess the gray bits kind of look like tire bits. Side of the box has the robot mode and the car mode in a separate grid. The back is also pretty simple, just like a whitened jungle background. Carrying those same design motifs from the top and bottom. Top of the box is pretty condensed. Bottom of the box, March of 2022, and yep, this is definitely separately printed and way offset. I guess that's easier to do if this ink gets reissued. Unboxing. Instructions. There's the cube right there. Nicely wrapped in tissue paper. And the accessories off to the side here. Just to show you how the parts work, I'm going to take a quick transformation from the robot to car. And weapon storage. Laranja here is looking like a very average civilian style, non-licensed of any kind Cooper 4-door hatchback automobile. I don't think you've seen one of those in a while. It was officially described as a Mini Cooper style, so I have an actual Mini Cooper model to compare it, I guess. It has some more angles than the typical iconic roundness of the Cooper's headlights and grills and such. Like, those are some significant polygons to make these rounded, transparent orange headlights. And the grill that comes across here, like, two splits of the grill with a really smooth bumper grill in front with the Carbot symbol right there. Maybe a license plate would go here. And the hood also has some other adornments, like the hood scoop with some painted black insides and some side hood vents. Even windshield wipers and little gutters. And the wipers even carry across these separate parts here. So when this is separated, this looks asymmetrical. But that was an intentional design. That is like a very minute detail not many will notice. Yeah, it looks like this copy came also with a unintentional side scratch. I guess it somehow scratched during the rotating part of the transformation. It has a nice indent in the door, and a footstep, and an even tinier footstep that may also double as the locking hinges. There's a black hinge here too, but it doesn't look that much out of place next to the Earth's dark blue. The dark colors do help mask each other, which it also does for the black mudguard here. As for the rear, this half is painted while the rest is the black plastic as it goes across the back bumper. Pretty nice back bumper here, the painted silver double exhaust. I guess a cutout for some tail lights, but not painted. But it does have these very large and prominent orange rear tail lights. No extra transparent colors. And that is a really tiny squashed rear window compared to the rest of it. Also feel like those windows are nearly the same height as the lower window, the lower doors. Just kind of makes it look a little big, a little cartoonishly big, but not overly cartoonishly big. Going back to the rear, it does have some more styling shapes and cuts. These do kind of look like door handles, but I think they might just be latches for the transformation. Gas caps on both sides. It is transparent plastic. Like the front here and the side windows and even a sunroof. It even has a separate plastic sunroof. But at least for the side and the sunroof here, they're actually mounted on black plastics, black separate pieces. So it gives a layered look so you can look into nothing, but it still has that sheen. The back you can see some of the junk, but it's not that noticeable with the smoky black. I think only the front has a crucial hinge connection port. Really, only the front has a crucial connection point. But one, it's the strong kind of transparent plastic, and it's smoky black, so it's really hard to see what's in there. A peculiar thing about this automobile mode is that it has a pretty low ground clearance. It's a slammed body type, as I just found out. Look like extra extensions just to make it low to the ground for style. Yeah, it's not what you would think for a Cooper, like a SUV, not quite off-road. So yeah, I guess I would have liked to see this have the wheels just, be able to raise a little more, or just it was raised a little bit more, but this does make it a little bit more peculiar than the typical kind of car of this shape. But if I have one major complaint, is that the front really doesn't hold together. It's sticking out like that much, and it should be pretty seamless like this, but no matter how long I press it in, it'll just keep popping back up. And it exposes the little hinge in the hood and also the slightest bit of color on the inside. Just, it's pretty frustrating when you have those really overcomplicated car transformers that if you don't get everything just right, something will just be not seamless. This is still a pretty relatively simple transformation of a Carbot, but I guess it's just one locking tab that's not doing its job, and it's just making everything else suffer in the vehicle mode. Getting it into a Gerwalk car mode to see just how this thing should clip together. Yeah, the hood also has some two clips in here, which has these little tabs here, little latches. As I feel it, I think that I only feel pressure on this one side. So yeah, just by itself, it does hold in pretty well, but I think the moment you put in the two tabs on the side, yeah, I think the side tabs just lift it up more than the front tab. Yeah, I think this is the main problem. This tab here is not doing its job. I think either it was molded a little too short, or I broke it after the fact, because I do recall this tabbing in correctly the first time I unboxed it and transformed it, so I think I might have transforms the wrong way, and a tiny sliver of plastic might have popped off, and now this thing won't tab properly. Ugh. Finally got it together by loosening up the screws a bit. As you can see, Laranja fits perfectly in the typical large Carbot scale. A little bit shorter in length, but just about the same width. Ostensibly the 1/22 scale. Transformation involves a lot of untabbing. Yeah, this is pretty easy to untab, and as with the side doors, and be sure to just pull it out to the side to these little tabs so as not to stress them. Yeah, you can simply unhinge here. I think the double back here, the double hinge back here is a little tricky to get out. I guess you could pull this back or pull this at the same time to just unwedge those two tabs here. These feet soft lock into place, and there are tabs here which do latch into here. The front folds down into the chest. Hinge this out of the way, fold the hood up, flip out the head, put that back in. This is pretty intuitive. Just turn this around and fold out the sides of the doors to form some extra little stylish kibble. And also clip it into the hood scoop here. And that's basically the robot mode. Laranja sure does evoke the early days of Helloka봇 toys and characters. A pretty monochromatic car disguising a very colorful robot within. And the Earth's blue is still somewhat prominent, like on the sides of the arms. Not so much in the legs, just in the lower bits. And a little bit of it on the chest. Besides the yellow and blue, her secondary colors consist of the black and the painted silver, like silver on her painted vent grills, her knees, her shoulders, the insides of the car hood flipped outward, face, and those abs. She's got some abs. Abs. Several transparent orange bits that could only be possible at this scale and would have to be painted at any other smaller scale. Like these little pieces here and right on her kneecaps and in her pelvic area too, here and the shoulders, a little bit in the chest and the head. It's a pretty yellow head with big horns on the side that kind of look like bull-like horns. But product may vary because her horns are actually shorter and thicker than they are in the show and renders. For safety reasons, I guess. And an orange forehead gem for the light piping. And a tiny little faceplate. Also shoulder vents. I guess it might look a little too yellow. I think a little bit of color breakout would have been nice, like a little bit of earth blue painted right across her faceplate here. For a transformation scheme, what is essentially a car standing up, it does have some nice transformation deviations for the stylish kibble, like how the front of the car just flips around and these flip out into little back shoulder pauldrons, with a little bit of technical detailing in here, like some little sort of pipes and buttons and wires and whatnot. Although, yeah, it looks a little gappy here because it's on one beam and it looks a little elevated from the rest of the body, but the bottom is pretty clean, and the bottom kibble, yeah, is only the rear of the car is the kibble, with only a little bit of the rear of the car that's folded down. Although, this is as far as it'll go. It looks a little round, so it might be a little hard to balance at times. So you're gonna have to really get into a good pose to make sure this thing doesn't topple over easily. Accessories, twin axes, or maybe they're small hatchets. They are very angled axes. It has a little bit of a wedge in there, still a safe enough wedge. And they kind of look a little bit like a hook. They kind of look bionically. Yeah, so it goes in the 5mm hands. Two short little axes. I suppose they could be good for throwing. They hold, but it's kind of a short shaft and not the best grip. Yeah, as long as you don't go all super hard, it should hold just fine as you just whack. And even weapon storage. It goes holstering right on the rather prominent love handles. That is pretty great when a Carbot has weapon storage in both modes. Articulation. Head is on a full swivel. Transformational upward hinge. 3 ratchet clicks. Outward. Double shoulder for transformation. Pretty soft ratcheted elbows at 3 clicks, and the bicep swivels! Yes! Yes! And they're not part of the transformation either, so yes! Looks like the mushroom peg is in the upper portion, rather not the instead of the lower portion like usually. And you know, that is a very tight clearance. Yeah, it goes right up to the door. There's no extending bits. Just a little bit of cutout needed to flex the arms. Which it looks almost seamless. Guess they had the extra budget to do this. No wrist swivel, despite the fact there are obviously multiple screws holding a separate molded part. Am I asking for too much for a wrist swivel? Interesting to note that the shoulder pauldrons are mounted here. They're not like in the perfect axis as the shoulder. So they are a bit flexible as you move the arm all about. And I guess you could give her different appearance styles slightly by adjusting them. Six clicks forward. About 4 back due to the little bit of kibble here. Which, since it's connected like this, no waist swivel of course. 4 clicks at the knee, 90 degrees, and that's a pretty tight ratchet. Full thighs. And foot forward like this. And it's a permanent A stance. Just with the addition of bicep swivels, Laranja feels like late 2010s Transformer figure that's just been upscaled. So it has all the basic points of the standard Transformer toy, which in the earlier days just omits the ankle tilt and the waist swivel. So, but apart from these, top-notch articulation. Yeah, though the base is still a little roundy, so gotta mind getting in a good position on those really tight knees. Yeah, it's pretty great to have just a traditional large Transformer toy right out of the gate in the first wave of a new gimmick season, and she doesn't have to have any extra gimmicks. Not that I think the new ball gimmick is bad, you know, the other 2 large Carbots with their ball gimmicks is not actually that intrusive. But sometimes I guess you just want just a good Transformer toy. I do have a few minor gripes, like with the unbalanced feet and the vehicle hood that really doesn't stay together. But other than that, yeah, this is a really great toy, and the included bicep swivel just puts her leagues above most other Carbot toys. It's hard to tell whether this design concept has been with Toy Rock for years or it was just created with the last design cycle. But I could imagine she could have been released much earlier, and if she was released in the days when Toy Rock still had the Hyundai license, I could imagine her being reshelled into one of Hyundai's other SUV models like the Palisade or the Tucson. A modified, souped-up, slammed one. Plus, she is a pretty assertive character in her show debut, for those who can appreciate the show. Then again, just another large car Transformer might be boring, but maybe the transformation is not so boring, and the standard retail price for Laranja might have slightly gone up compared to what similar toys went for a couple of years ago and even the reissues today. But the online prices are pretty flexible, so that's not too much of a big inflation issue compared to Hasbro's inflation issues, I think. In short, highly recommended whether from Gmarket or eBay. Like, share, and subscribe for quality than quantity reviews.